morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Technical Assistance Training Session for the Broward County Small Business Micro Grant Program. We have a lot of people still joining in. Welcome. Please type on the chat who you are, your name, and your company. We want to know who we have here today. My name is Maribel Feliciano. I'm the Assistant Director with the Broward County Office of Economic and Small Business Development. And today we have an excellent session for you where we're going to be sharing really important information that you need in order to submit the small business micro grant application. Next slide, please. This webinar is being recorded because we want to make sure that all of you have access to the information afterwards. It's going to be posted on our YouTube channel, and it's also going to be posted on our Small Business Micro Grant website. You are going to have all that information today. Basically, we wanted to share with you the main goal of the micro grant program. This is a pilot program that Broward County has implemented to help the smallest of the small businesses. This is an initiative that has been advanced by the Broward County Commission. We want to assist all of you, our small businesses, with working capital for your general operations of your business. We're going to be awarding 11 grants per commission district. Here you can see the map of the 9 commission districts we have in Broward County, and we're going to be awarding 11 grants per commission district. It is a first come, first serve process, and the grant amount is $2,500. Only $2,500 grant amounts are going to be approved as part of the program. It is really important that you submit eligible receipts in excess of $2,500, and we're going to be repeating this throughout the whole webinar today because we're not able to approve grants for less than $2,500. Only grants for $2,500, and that's why it's so important that you submit receipts in excess of $2,500 in the case that you submit a receipt for an expense that is not eligible. You do not want to be considered ineligible because you didn't submit enough receipts. Something else I wanted to share with you today is we want to make sure that you pay really close attention to the webinar today, because we're not only going to share with you the documents you have to submit for the application, we're also going to share the questions we're going to be asking you. We're going to share the examples of the types of documents you have to submit, which is going to be really important as well. Our staff has worked really hard to make sure that you have all the information you need to be successful when you submit your grant application. So we want you to pay close attention to the information we're going to share with you today. If after this training session you have questions, you will be able to access the recording on our YouTube channel, on the microgrant website, but you can also call our office and we'll be glad to assist you as well. Today, we want you to type your questions on the Q&A portion of the Zoom. Please type your questions on the Q&A, not on the chat. Type them on the Q&A. We're going to address all your questions at the end of our program. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our microgrant program manager, Mark Cassidy, who's going to tell you all about the grant, all the information you need to know, and basically towards the end, you're going to be able to see the online application as well. You're going to see exactly what you're going to see when the application portal opens. Mark?
Thank you, Maribel. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate the introduction, Maribel. And so without further ado, just to review what we are going to cover today in our technical assistance video: eligibility requirements, the application process as far as going through the online application and what to expect for next steps moving forward, the eligible and prohibited expenses, the documents that you'll need to upload into the online portal as part of your application, how you will submit your eligible costs, which will be on the front end, and we will reimburse you after your application is approved. We will walk you through how to apply on the application portal, and then walk you through the payment process, some frequently asked questions, and then offer you the opportunity to ask your questions at the end. So for eligibility requirements, you must be a Broward County business with a Broward County address, with your local business tax receipts from Broward County and the city that you operate in. You need to be in operations on or before October 1st, 2022, be legally registered, licensed as required by applicable law, and up to date on all of your tax payments and filings, as well as eligible to contract with the government on the federal, state, and local level. Your business should employ 10 employees or less, which is full-time employees and includes the business owner. And your business should have business annual gross revenues of $500,000 or less. The application will be on a first come, first served process on your commission district basis. On the right is a QR code, which will bring you to the Small Business Microgrant Pilot Program website. And that has the complete list of these eligibility requirements, which are also on the next slide. So the applicant that submits the application as the business owner must be a majority business owner, 50% or greater. The business must be a for-profit business. It also must not be part of a national chain. Eligibility will be based on the address of your business where that you operate in. If you are a home-based business, the home address of the business owner will be considered. And in that case, you will submit a copy of your IRS form 8829, which we'll get into later on the details when you submit your application. And last, it'll be one application per business, regardless of your total eligible expenses, regardless of anything, one application per business name. So as far as the application process, first, and right now, what we'll recommend that you start doing is to gather all of your required documents that we'll cover in the training later. Also, create your Access Broward account or open it to make sure that it is still functional. Then the next step, when the application will be available, submit your application through the link that we'll post on the microgrant website. And then once your application is submitted through the portal, you'll be able to monitor it through the portal that you log into until it's approved and payment is submitted. So to start with our demonstration of the application, I just want to remind you that one application per business. So if you try to submit a second application, it will not work the same as if you were submitting your application for the first time. Next slide, please. But before you submit your application, here's a quick walkthrough on how to create your Access Broward account or make sure that it is working properly. On the left is a QR code that will bring you right to your Access Broward account page to register or sign in to make sure that it is working properly. And all application communications will go to the email that you register with your Access Broward account. So on the right, at the Access Broward homepage, you can make sure that your account is working by typing in your email and password. If not, you can register on the right at the link that's highlighted and then proceed from there. So after you click the register here link, it'll bring you directly to this page on the left. This is your standard create account page where you enter your email and password and create your account. Once you click the create my account button, it will send you a verification email. And then when you check your email, you'll get your link. You click that link, and then it will bring you directly to the Access Broward homepage, and you have verified your account and you're good to go, ready to submit your application. Next, please. So, reminder, the application portal is not available yet. The grant is not currently live, but when it is live and the online application does open, it will be available on the website homepage for the Small Business Micro Grant Pilot Program. There's a link there that you can click, and it'll also be accessible from the Office of Economic and Small Business Development's homepage. So once you click the link, it will take you to a page that looks similar to the Access Broward account login page. And if your account is working, you'll type in your Access Broward email and password, sign in, and then move on from there. So once you sign in, it will bring you to that Small Business Micro Grant application portal. On the left, you see available programs. On the right, you see your applications. But what you're going to be looking for is that Apply Now button right in the center of that image. Once you click that, it'll bring you to this next page. And so this is the landing page of the application. Section 1 is where you will select your business type. And you'll select for-profit or not-profit. Next, please. So what will happen if you select nonprofit, because reminder that it is only eligible for for-profit companies, is that you'll get this pop-up that says that you're not qualified for the Small Business Micro Grant, and then you'll click Close. If your company is a not-for-profit business, we'll just let you know that you're not eligible. But if you click that as a mistake, you would be able to start over and re-click for-profit. But we will be confirming that based on your documentation that you submit in your application. But moving on, once you click for-profit, the next will be in the next box, you'll enter your TIN number, your taxpayer identification number, which can also be your EIN, employer identification number, or social security number. Of course, we would prefer that you submit your TIN, but please submit what is available and what you use on your documentation to match it. You will not be able to use the same TIN for multiple applications, of course, and then you'll proceed to the local business tax receipt number. You can enter, just one note on that. Of course, your tax number it might have dashes in it. You can enter that with or without dashes, whatever is easier for you, and the application will be able to accommodate. So here's an example of the Broward County local business tax receipt. The receipt number can be found in the red box on the right. And as I mentioned, you can enter with or without your dashes and then proceed. The system will look you up and confirm that the number that you entered is in our system as valid and ready to be used to move forward. So this image is what you'll see if you enter your TIN or business tax receipt. So on the top, the highlighted box shows you what it'll say if it's already been used. Just go ahead and make sure that you entered the number correctly, and proceed. If you have any questions or think that your number should be working, you haven't already used it, please contact our office and we'll make sure that we get that taken care of right away. And on the bottom is the pop-up notification if we were not able to find your tax receipt number similarly. Once you proceed to section 2, the business information. This screen will automatically populate the information that you have in our system. And you can enter any fictitious name, DBA, additional address information, or contact information including phone number, if applicable, and please do. And then last, you will see a drop down at the bottom for business industry. Just click the drop down and select the industry that is most relevant to you. Section 3, qualifying questions. Respond yes or no to each of the following questions. Of course, please answer the questions correctly, accurately, truthfully, and the office will be reviewing the application and all of your documentation to confirm that these answers are correct. And if you're eligible, you'll automatically be brought to the next page. So the qualifying questions include, as covered, is your business legally registered as required by applicable law? Is your business up to date on tax payments filings through 2022? Next, does your business have annual gross revenues of $500,000 or less? And then you'll enter your total business gross revenue as indicated in your tax documents that you're going to be submitting. Next, does your business employ 10 people or less? Sorry, not next slide, just the next question. Apologize about that. But right, just your 10 employees, yes or no, and then please click the drop-down box for the number of employees that you have in your documentation as well. Last three questions for qualifying questions are, does the business owner requesting the grant own 50% or more of the business? Has your business been in operation for at least 2 years? And is your business currently eligible to contract with the federal, state, or local government? So click yes through all of these, and then you'll go to the next page in the application. But if you do select no, you will not be eligible. You will see the following pop-up on the bottom of the screen here that corresponds with the question that you answered, and then click close. From there, you will submit your application and as a not eligible application. We do want to remind you that, you can't change them once they're submitted. So you'll need to be careful when you're submitting your application. Ensure that you take notes prior to submitting your application to make sure that you're answering the questions properly and don't run into any problems. The next section of the application is business structure. You'll click the drop down for your business form, where you'll select sole proprietor, partnership, C corporation, S corporation, or limited liability company. And then you will click the blue button to complete the business ownership and enter the contact information for the business owners that you're applying for the grant under. So here you enter your relevant information, which is for informational purposes only as far as percent of ownership, gender, and ethnicity. Of course, the percentage of ownership must exceed 50% of the owners of the business to indicate majority ownership as the applicant. But yes, informational purposes only for the gender and ethnicity information. You can also select prefer not to answer for those questions, and it is not a consideration for approval. It is just for our tracking. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to note that the address information just enter the address with your the number, the street, and the street name, and then the unit, city, and the zip code. And then when you click save, you'll need to enter multiple applicants if necessary. So then click save and move on to the next applicant. So once you click save, the applicant that you just entered will show up in the table that's on the right. And you can revise that entry if you click the red trash can icon that's at the left of the table to modify it and make sure that everything is correct. But once you have your owners entered into the table, you click save and move on to the next portion of the application. The next portion of the application will be where you submit your required documentation. And before we get into the details of that, just want to present the list of all of those forms that you will need to gather. We do understand that it is a lot, but that's what we'll be using to confirm your application on the front end, which will be a lot easier to review and make it a lot less of a headache for you to ensure that all of your application, documents are correct and all of that. So the first will be your W-9 form, your most recent Broward County local business tax receipt, which can be for 2023 or for 2024. Your most recent city local business tax receipt, same 2023 or 2024. Your documentation of active status with the Florida Division of Corporations for at least 2 years, which is also your SunBiz, also known as SunBiz. Your federal business tax returns, which will be for 2022 or 2023. Business employment and revenue documentation, government issued identification. You will download, complete, sign, and submit the grant terms conditions for the grant. And then you will submit documentation of all of your expenses that you have paid, which should be for the last 60 days prior to the application date. And again, 2,500 and greater, more than 2,500. That way, all of your receipts will guarantee that they exceed 2,500 and you'll be able to get the grant. So all expenses that you have receipts for in the past 60 days. And for a complete list, of course, you can go to our website. So in the application on the right is what it will look like. You'll see the list of the documents that you need to upload, and you'll see a drop down for the support documents, which you will select. So in the drop down, it will say, W-9, select that, and you'll click choose file. When you click choose file, you'll select that from your computer or where you're uploading the document from, and then click upload document, and then it will be saved. Want to note that the formats for the documents are PDF, .doc, .docx, JPEG, JPG, BMP, TIFF, and PNG, and that the individual size limits are 25 megabytes. First will be your W-9 form. This is available at irs.gov. We're using this to confirm your taxpayer identification number. The EIN number, which is highlighted on the image bottom right, needs to match your W-9 and your application. And so then fill out the instructions on the form, ensure that all boxes are completed, legible, and then sign and date. Next will be the Broward County local business tax receipt. On the right is the example of it. On the sample, the highlighted areas are the information that you need to confirm match your application, including your business name, the location, the receipt number, the date that the business opened. You should be submitting the most recent version that you have, but it must be 2023 or 2024. And if you need a copy of it, you can go to the link that on the screen, which is available at the Records, Taxes, and Treasury website. And their office can assist you with downloading a copy of that if you need. Similar for the city local business tax receipt. Just as an example, but yours will, of course, depend on the city that you operate in. But again, submit the most recent that you have available, but make sure that the date is legible. Make sure that your business name, business contact information, and address is correct, and then proceed to the next document. So next will be your documentation of your active status with the Florida Division of Corporations, also known as SunBiz. So you'll navigate to your SunBiz page, find your company, and save a PDF of, of, of this page here. You'll need to confirm, of course, that the EIN number and address matches your application, as well as the date, and make sure that the status does say active, because all of these are the things that we'll be checking to confirm. Next, 2023 federal business tax returns. You'll only need to submit the first page. We don't need to see the complete. We just want to confirm that it exists and that it was submitted and accepted. If your 2023 is not available, please submit your 2022, and please download it from irs.gov if you don't have that currently available. Again, I'll mention, all of the information needs to match. That's the critical task, is to make sure that all of your information that you're applying with matches what's on your documents that you're uploading. The same with the gross revenue, and all information, quite frankly. And then your examples of those tax returns will depend on what type of business structure that you have. So for your sole proprietorship, you'll submit the Form 1040. For partnerships, you'll submit Form 1060, or sorry, 1065. And for corporations, Form 1120. The details on those forms are available on the screen there, and our office is available to help if you have any questions about making sure that they're the right forms while you're gathering those documents. So just some visual examples of those documents that you'll be submitting that I just mentioned. For sole proprietorship, here's your Form 1040 Schedule C, and notice the highlighted portions on the page. Those will be the main things that you'll be making sure match your application. I'll mention that we will have a copy of this presentation in video form available on our website, but also in like digital form, where you'll be able to stay on the page and zoom into the page, and so that you'll be able to better read the information that's on our sample form here on the right and make sure you're submitting the right information. Next, please. So for partnerships, that will be Form 1065. K1 for all partners that exceed 50% of business ownership, please. And again, noting the highlighted information on those documents. And again, I know that's probably hard to read at this moment on presentation, but please download a copy of this, and then you'll be able to zoom in and see everything clearly. Last will be for those corporations, Form 1120, highlighted information, submit it, and moving on to the next document. So for your business employment documentation, you'll need to submit one of the following: either your employer's quarterly federal tax return, which is IRS Form 941, or your FL state Form RT6. So here is an example of the IRS Form 941 with the critical information that you need to make sure matches highlighted on the right. And here's that FL Form RT6 with highlighted information on the right. Next will be your government issued ID. You'll need to submit one of the following, of course, not all, just one of your Florida ID card, your US passport, your Broward Community ID, a military ID, or your Florida driver's license. Just to make sure that we're very clear, here are some samples of those government IDs that we'll be looking for to make sure that they're valid. Make sure that of course, the business owner name matches the information on your ID. That's what we'll be checking. A sample image of a United States passport, and the source where we got these sample images, which were not our own, are available on the screen. Here's an example of the Broward County Community ID. A military ID, and last, a Florida issued driver's license. Please upload the front and the back of the identification, of course. So the next document will be the grant terms and conditions for the Broward County Small Business Micro Grant Pilot Program. This document will be available on the grant website. You'll download it, you'll print it, sign it, of course, read it, make sure that you understand it, and then scan it, and then upload that document, or digitally sign it if you're able to do that with Adobe. And make sure that you also include Exhibit A, which is the foreign country of concern attestation, which certainly will not be a concern for any companies in Broward County, but make sure you complete that form. And then last will be the documentation of all of your reimbursable expenses paid within the last 60 days. Another reminder that the submitted receipts must equal or be greater than, and the submitted receipts must be greater than $2,500. We really are making sure that you submit everything that you have available, because anything less than that will not be approved. $2,450 will not be approved for the grant, even if they're all eligible expenses. Make sure everything is legible, and because if I cannot read it on the first review, it will not be able to be approved. And please make sure that the proof of payment states the company name as it says on the application. And if you need to attach any supplemental information, such as a credit card or a bank statement with the company name and account number that matches the receipt and amount, please do so. We also recommend that in a separate document, you create some sort of narrative or outline of each purchase and the corresponding eligible expense category and the documents that you have that are showing those payments made. So I'll walk you through examples of how you'll submit all of your eligible expenses, which include purchase of inventory and supplies, although excluding alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco, your business equipment, payment of rent or mortgage of your commercial space. If you're a home-based business, you'll submit, in addition, the IRS 8829 form. An eligible expense includes publicity, marketing, and advertising. Some examples are available there. Commercial security systems, commercial liability insurance, or professional services. But the services must be directly provided to the business as stated on the invoice, and so on. All expenses paid for with the credit card must be under the business name. So when you're submitting your eligible reimbursable expenses for inventory and supplies, you'll need some sort of payment receipt. A sample is available on the right, but make sure that you have the business name on the invoice and that it matches the application. Something that you would submit for a business equipment purchase could be a receipt. If you pay for it on a credit card, but the credit card does not say, the receipt that you have does not say the business name on the receipt, then please also submit an image of that credit card that does show the company name, and then make sure that the numbers on the credit card match the numbers on the receipt. Please feel free to redact some of the numbers on the credit card to leave only the numbers that are available on the receipt, like the last four. And that should cover it for the receipt. If you're submitting reimbursement for the payment of your rent or your mortgage of your commercial space, please submit some sort of a mortgage statement or a rent receipt. Have the landlord create some sort of receipt, but that cannot be a bank statement that just shows a regular payment coming out. It must have, must state the address that is being rented or, being operated, the fact that it is, a mortgage or a lease, and the company name that is using the property and leasing that property. If you need to redact any information on the page, please do so. But make sure that you take a look at the sample documents on the right, because we have some highlighted information that we would need you to include. Of course, it should show the date that the payments were made, that it was a payment towards your rent, and so forth, and then the amount, of course. Also mentioning the late fee as outlined on this sample document, just to point out and remind you that late fees would not be qualified, but the regular payment is an eligible expense. Next, please. So I mentioned if you're a home-based business, for that payment of rent or mortgage on your commercial space, this is the example of the form 8829, and simple enough. Make sure the information on that form matches, and then it should be eligible. For publicity, marketing, or advertising, you'll just need some sort of payment receipt. If your information on your receipt is vague, you need to provide any information that you can that can confirm the payment, tie it back to the business. And please request it from the firms if you need some sort of, official receipt. Similar for commercial security systems and commercial liability insurance. Just you need some sort of official payment receipt confirming that you paid an invoice, from your business. Same for professional services, just making sure that you really understand all the ways that you'll need to submit these reimbursable expenses depending on the type of expense. So as I'd mentioned, you'll click on the drop down box for your support documents, choose your file, upload that document. When you upload the documents, they will be listed behind the upload documents box, which is in the red box here. You'll see it when you're submitting your application, but as you click upload your W-9, it'll show up there in the background. That way you have a complete list of all the documents that you've uploaded so far, so that you can truly make sure that you have everything in line. And then once you have all of your documentation that's required, your extra documentation to walk through all of your expenses for your outline, then you'll go ahead and click the yellow button on the right, which is close, and proceed to the next section. Next section being the certifications, affirmations, and acknowledgements page. So please read through this, and if you agree, click I attest to all of the following at the top. Once you click the box, it will move you to the next section. which will be the final section, your sign and submit page. You'll type in your full name in the applicant signature box, confirm that the date is correct, and then check I'm not a robot and complete the CAPTCHA. Then you'll click submit application and your application will be completed. The next step from there will be to check your email because you'll receive an email confirmation that we have received your small business micro grant and that it will be under review. And with that, I know that was a lot to go through our application, but I would like to turn it over to our business manager, Nadia Hankerson, for our payment process and next steps.
Good morning, everyone. As Mark just said, I'm the business manager for the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, and I'll be primarily responsible for the payment process. So just wanted to give you some idea of what will happen once someone goes through the application, reviews all the documents, and once you're approved, you will receive a notification via email, but you can also come to your application dashboard. So once you submit your application, you can come anytime, go back to your Access Priority, sign in, and you will see your status. So right there, once you submit, when you go back through, you'll see it submitted. Once it is reviewed, your application is reviewed, it'll either say denied or approved. Once it's approved, it comes in my hands. So we're just going to go ahead and go through what that process looks like and how long it'll take for you to actually get a check in your hands. Just so to remind everyone, we will be answering questions at the end. So if you have any questions, make sure you put it in the Q&A section and not the chat. So the application process, approved applications will appear in the portal under status approved. So right where before we saw submitted, once it's approved, it will change to approved, but you will be notified, you will receive an email. Well, an email will be sent to you. Make sure if you see approved in your application on your portal, but you didn't receive an email, I would suggest you just check your spam or your junk to just see and maybe approve the sender. So anytime something happens, you'll be receiving an email. So once it's approved, once the payment is in process, it will go to payment is in process, you'll receive that email. So like, as I stated, when the application is approved by someone at OESBD, the applicant will receive another email message notifying them of their successful grant application. As I stated before, if you don't receive an email, but you see your status has changed to approved, just check your spam. And as I said, every time something happens, you'll get an email. Next slide. So the OESBD team, administration team, will submit a payment request to the accounting division. So what we'll do is once we receive it, after it's approved, once I get to the application, I will change the status to payment in process. So you'll be notified of that. The payment in process will include us reviewing your W-9. Someone in accounting will be comparing the information that you included on your W-9, such as your EIN or your social, to what is recorded with the IRS. So they do that process. So that's why it's really important, as Mark stated before, that everything matches. So make sure whatever name, address, and EIN TIN number you use on your W-9 matches what you have filed with the IRS, because it will be compared. If there is a difference or something, it's possible your application will be denied. So make sure everything matches. As I stated, once I receive the approved application, I will change the status of payment in process. Once everything is cleared, you're added to our system. The W-9 is all good. I'll update it then to payment issued. This whole process from me receiving an approved application to the payment the check actually being mailed out will be about 4 weeks. Next slide. So just to reiterate something else I wanted to add, just so you know, all payments will be made payable to the business name. Before we get to these frequently asked questions, all payments will be made to the business name, not to the owner name or anyone else's. So make sure you are able to cash or deposit. You have a checking account or business checking account or some form. Your bank will accept the check that's going to be payable to your business name and not to your personal name. Whatever name is on your W-9 is what the check will be made payable to. At this time, we're only doing checks. There will not be any direct deposit, so you will have to wait for that process. But as I stated, once the check is being mailed out, the status will be updated and you'll know when your payment is on the way. So before we get to the questions in the chat, we're just going to go through some of the frequently asked questions. How will I be notified if I'm selected? So as I stated before, you will receive an email. You can also check your dashboard. As I stated, if you go to your dashboard and you see the status has changed, but you didn't receive an email, just go ahead and check your spam or your junk to approve the sender, so you will receive emails going forward. When would I receive payment? So as I stated, once the payment, the application is approved, it will take about 4 weeks for me to process through your W-9 and get that check mailed out to you. How can I check the status of my application? If you're go online and it says submitted for a couple of weeks, or you just have questions, or it's saying approved for a couple of weeks, the same payment in process for a couple of weeks, and you just want to check the status, you can always call our office. We're here Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. And our number is here on the screen, 954-357-6400. Question 4, who can I contact with questions? Sorry, you can go back. I didn't finish 4. Who can I contact with questions about the forms and required supporting documentation? Once again, you can call our office about that. It's best to do this before the application portal opens. Don't wait until the portal opens to then ask questions, because once it's open, you should have everything scanned. You should have everything signed, everything. So once the portal opens and you're ready, just have everything just uploaded and ready. So if you have any questions about any forms, any supporting documents, make sure you call us beforehand. So once the portal is open, it's very competitive and it's first come, first serve. So you want to be ready when that portal opens. So just make sure you reach out to us beforehand. You can also send us emails. If you by chance can't call during the day, you want to send an email, I just want to provide our email address to you also. It is oesbdadmin@broward.org. If someone could put that in the chat, that'd be great. But the email address you can use for these questions is oesbdadmin@broward.org as well. That's another option if you would like, if you can't call during our normal business hours. Okay, next slide. 5, does the application come in Spanish and/or Haitian Creole? No, not at this time, but we are, as question 6, we are providing technical assistance in Spanish and Haitian Creole. So no, the application does not come, it's only in English, but the technical assistance is being provided in Spanish and Haitian Creole. Number 7, based on the services that I provide, I'm not sure if my business is eligible to receive grant funding. Who can I contact to confirm if it is? If you're not sure, you can ask your questions now in the chat. We'll be answering those questions in the next few minutes. Or you can call the office once again, Office of Economic and Small Business Development. Our number is on the screen. Number 8, what if I have no employees? It is just me. Could I still qualify for funding? Yes, you would be considered when you do the drop down. You would just do 1 as the number of employees. You would count yourself. And 9, what dates will the application be open? The application will open the last week of May of this month. That is the plan as of now. You should continue to check the website. You can go to the next slide. You can continue to check the website in the meantime, but as of now, it is the end of May. And we also, which we'll show you in a few moments, if you join our bar, we have a wonderful weekly newsletter. If you get on that mailing list, when we get the date solidified, we will be putting it in our weekly newsletter. We will send out an email. So if you want to make sure you get that email, you can also join our bar, that email list. Number 10, if I'm missing one or more of the required documents as part of the application, am I still eligible for funding? No, as Mark went into detail about what everything looks like. He gave examples, everything that we exactly need. So unfortunately, no. If you have something missing, we would not be reaching out to you to say, hey, you have something missing, go back in and upload. Unfortunately, your application will be denied. So all required documentation must be submitted to qualify. Even if you're just missing your ID, you need to make sure you include everything that's on that list to be eligible to even be considered. So make sure you do that. Number 11, if I do not have a receipt, invoice, or other proof of payment, can I still receive funding? No, as I stated, grant funds can only be approved for verifiable spending via invoice, receipt, or other proof of payment. So that's why we're doing this a couple of weeks in advance. You have a couple of weeks as from today to get your documents together, to get everything scanned and uploaded. So when that day comes, you'll be ready. So number 12, is my business eligible? Please review the eligibility requirements. If you have a specific question about your specific business, you can put it in the Q&A section and we'll try to get to it. Number 13, what type of spending can I submit for funding? As Mark, he went through that whole list, but you can please review the eligible and prohibited expenses on the website. However, like I said, if you have something specific that you're not really sure of, you can put it in the chat and we have about 35 questions, so we're going to get to as many as we can. If we don't get to all the questions, we'll definitely upload them to our website the next few days so you can get all your questions answered. But as I stated before, it's best to be prepared ahead of time. Don't wait until the day of when the portal opens to ask questions or get your paperwork and documents together. As I stated a few times already, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at 954-357-6400. You can email at oesbdadmin@broward.org. I check that all day. And next slide. So you can visit the website, as Mark stated. We have the program overview, the eligibility requirements, the eligible expenses, prohibited expenses, required documents. We're also going to be putting this presentation on our website, so you'll have access to this as well. Our next workshop, which is in person, is going to be May 20th at 1 p.m. So if you want to see us in person, if you feel like you want to just, have some face-to-face time, we'll all be there, the three of us that have presented today. We can ask those questions in person, but this is being recorded. So if you have anybody that wanted to attend but couldn't, please share the link with them. They can watch it online. For anyone who can't come in person, you can rewatch this presentation online. It'll be on our YouTube, but we're doing as much as we can to get the word out and also to make sure you understand all the required documents so you can be as successful as possible in this process. Next slide. So at this time, we will go to the Q&A. Nicole, you going to take that over?
Alrighty. Thank you all for sticking with us here. We're going to go through the questions. Okay, so we're going to go through the answered ones real quick here. When will the application process open? So please check the program website daily. The information will be shared on the website. It's also provided in the chat here. You can also sign up for our weekly newsletter, which was also put in the chat. And for future technical assistance sessions, I put in the chat for the one we're having in person on May 20th. Next question, you said we need to submit receipts. Does that mean we need to purchase the items prior to receiving the grant? So the grant is reimbursable for businesses for eligible expenses paid within 60 days prior to the grant application date. So again, it's 60 days prior to the grant application date. Next question, I have no tax declaration yet. Is it possible to apply for the grant? Answer is no. Tax returns are a required document. Next question, when is the link for the application expected to be live? So the answer is check the program website daily. The information will be shared on the website. We'll also share the information on our social media, our weekly newsletter and such. And again, in the next track, don't forget about the next technical assistance training we're having on May 20th and any future trainings that we have. Next question, I was trying to go along with the moderator and I'm logged into the portal. However, I do not see any available programs. Is it currently live? So the answer is the online application is not yet available. Please check the website daily and information again will be shared. Next question is, I opened my business September 2023. Do I qualify? The answer is you must be a business for 2 years. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry. 1 second, I lost my spot here. You must be, sorry. 1 second. The answer is you must be a business in operation on or after or before, on or before October 1st, 2022. Next question. What criteria is being used to determine who will get the grant if there are more than 11 applicants for a district? Or is it just a first come, first served kind of thing? The answer is it is a first come, first served. Next question. I own 50%. Do I qualify? The answer is the person completing the application must own 50% or more of the business. Next question. Owner's information address is the home or business address. So the answer is section 2. Business information, business owner address will be automatically completed by the system with the information provided in the county business tax receipt.
I just want to interject something
ahead.
really quick, Nicole,
Sure.
for that question. So when you do the part where you give the owner information, so I think they're referring to that section. When you put in your, for everyone here, when you put in your business license tax receipt, yes, your information will auto-populate. But when you have to do your business owner information, you will put in your business address, not your home address, because that part is manual. So I believe they were referring to that part.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next question on the section, I believe it's 4, a business structure slide. Is the address for the owner their personal address or the business address? The answer is individual owner's address. So business or personal are acceptable. So it's the owner's, the address. Next question, my business has been registered with Sunbiz since September 2022. They paid taxes 2022 and 2023. Is this considered to be in business for 2 years? The answer is must be a Broward County business and have been in operation on or before October 1st, 2022. Next question, are you going to send the presentation? So yes, the link to this webinar will be posted on the website and copy of the presentation will be emailed to all participants. Would the mortgage be acceptable in the personal name? It's the same address as a business if it's submitted with the form 8829. So yes, as we said in the training, if you submit that form for a home business, you'll be fine. Will there be a grant for nonprofit organizations? Unfortunately, not at this time with this pilot program. Next question, should we only submit individual receipts in excess of $2,500 or can we submit multiple receipts totaling $2,500? If the type of work we do involves international business, are those expenses also covered? The answer is you can submit individual or multiple receipts in excess of $2,500. Part 2 to that question, does anybody want to touch on that? What if it involves international business? Are those expenses also covered?
I would say as long as if you refer to the eligible expenses list, that's what you need to go by. So just look at the list, on the website. If any of those charges or expenses are listed, then yes, they are eligible. We're only going by what's eligible, not really about the international. I'm assuming they're saying if they're doing business internationally and may get, maybe, billed by Canada or somewhere else. But yes, as long as it's their eligible business expenses, they would qualify. But they need to refer to the list on the website.
Alrighty, so we're wrapping up a bit. It is 11:01, so we might answer a few questions and then put the rest of the answers, as Nadia stated, on the actual website. So again, look forward to that website and check the frequently asked questions and we can answer those additional questions there. Next question, when I started my business, I used my home address for my taxes because the store was not open yet. Am I still eligible to apply? So yes, the answer is home-based businesses are eligible. See eligibility requirements on the program website. Maribel, should we do 1 or 2 more?
So because we are at 11:02, what I would like to recommend is we're going to be looking at all the questions that have been provided on the Q&A portion of this webinar. We're going to be responding to every single one of your questions, and we're going to be posting those on the frequently asked questions. And we're also going to email those responses to all of you that participated in the training session today. So again, just to reiterate what our staff just shared, this PowerPoint and the recording of this webinar is going to be posted on our website. It will be posted on YouTube channel as well. And all of you will receive an email with the links to that information, the links to the recorded webinar, and links to the website. If you have any questions about the information we share with you today, we know it's a lot of information that we shared with all of you today. If you have any questions after you review the materials, you review our website, please feel free to contact us here in the office. I think if we go to the next slides, you'll see our contact information. I think the next slide has the next one after that. Yes, here we go. So this is our phone number. Please contact us here in the office. We are available to answer any questions you may have. Some of you may have questions that are very specific to your business. And that's why we're here. We're here to help you understand the requirements in advance of the portal opening, because we want to make sure that you're prepared and that you have all the documents that you need in order to submit the application in a timely manner. But just to recap, we will be answering all the questions that you have shared with us today. We'll be providing answers to all the questions, emailing you those responses, and posting them on the website. We have another technical assistance training session in person. It's going to be May 20th. And it's also on our website. So we will go ahead and share that information with you. If you visit the website, Nicole, if you can please type on the chat the link to the website, the microgram website, you'll be able to go there. You can share the information with other colleagues that may want to join the in-person training session. So again, I want to thank our team for sharing all this information with you today. And we want you to know that OESBD is here to answer any questions you may have throughout this process. We want you to get ready now. We want you to set up your Access Browser account now. We want you to compile all the documents that you need now. Have everything ready. You already saw the questions that you're going to be asked when the portal goes live. You already saw the documents you have to submit. So you are able to have everything ready for when the portal goes live. You will be able to submit your application successfully. Again, feel free to reach out to OESBD. I want to thank Mark and Nadia and the rest of the team for putting together all the details of this event. And I hope all of you are able to submit your application successfully. Please reach out to OESBD if you have any questions, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.